Hi, fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. This is your weekly reading. I also have mini personal readings up on Etsy, and if you need a deep dive reading, you can check out my business in the description box below. So, fire signs, I'm going to clarify your death card because that's actually your advice. I like to always figure out what is going on with death. Okay, so here's the thing. You're starting out in Ten of Wands reversed and then moving into Knight of Pentacles reversed, High Priestess reversed with the Lovers coming out askew. It feels like this week you're really trying to figure out what is your job and what is not your job, because there's an energy here of you being quite overwhelmed. You could be dealing with an earth sign because they got the Six of Pentacles in the reverse as well for their underlying energy. It feels like this week there's something that you need to get off your chest. There's something that's been bothering you, and it's like it's kind of building to the point that you are having to say something about it. It's like a pressure cooker almost, right? But what's weird to me is that even though you're feeling this, you're not going to be speaking on it this week. It's more in your actions, right? That you're letting people know where you're at. You're disengaging, you're checking out. You could even be deciding that it's time for you to leave a relationship or a partnership because your Ten of Wands in the reverse is being clarified by the Two of Cups in the reverse. It feels like there's something that's getting in the way of what you want, especially with this Lovers, Seven of Pentacles, Six of Wands. And it's like you're so fed up with it. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this is love or a career. For some of you, it could just be that you have like a really chaotic work schedule and it's getting in the way of your relationship. For others of you, this could really be about a relationship and feeling like there needs to be some kind of like understanding between the two of you, where something needs to be figured out because there's an elephant in the room. And it seems like it's starting to irk you this week. It's starting to really frustrate you. I'm seeing, for those of you who are here for love, the possibility of there being either too many people involved in this situation. So your partner could have like a family member who's very meddlesome, or an ex who doesn't ever go away. Or it could be that you have second thoughts about where you are because it looks like you're almost invested somewhere else. So, like, for example, maybe you still care about someone from your past, and so you're in a relationship now and there's issues, right? Or if this is about career, it could be like you're majoring in something, but you really feel like you should be doing something else, And so it's hard for you to go through the motions of finishing the courses you need to finish, right? It's something along those lines of like you trying to fit into a situation that you don't even feel is right for you. So I'm not sure why you're putting yourself through this, in all honesty, because it's like you're just going through the motions and now it's starting to really get to you to the point that you're checking out, but you're not having the discussions you need to have around what the problems are, right? It's almost like you're just hoping people will read the room, or you're hoping that if you seem disengaged or like you're not interested, people will get the idea and move around instead of like pursuing you or continuing to have expectations for you to do a specific thing. That's kind of interesting that this is how you're choosing to deal with your anger. I think for some of you, you have a pretty bad temper. And so it's almost like if I say what I'm really thinking, everything's going to fall apart, right? Or people will never be the same. So I'm just going to be quiet. I'm not going to contribute my thoughts to the situation because it'll like tear everything apart. It'll burn the whole establishment to the ground, right? Like they haven't seen mad till they've seen my mad. And so there's like a self-understanding or awareness that it feels like you can't move in a way that's authentic because you'll do a lot of damage based on all of the frustration that's been building. I am seeing that coming to an end though, because it's almost like even if you're not communicating this, people do seem like they're getting the message this week with you pulling back. So you might find that people around you this week are getting super triggered. If you have a partner and you're like pulling back from them this week, they may ask you, like, do you still want to be together? Is there something you want to talk about? I still don't see you saying anything. I feel like you're just throwing it all kind of up in the air, and wherever things land is wherever they land, because you don't want to talk about this. I don't get why you don't want to talk about it. Okay, so whatever this is very emotional for you, and it feels like what you're feeling, you're not ready to talk about with anybody. Because not only is there anger, but it's like there's grief or there's some kind of like disappointment around what it is that you're going through, and maybe it's just the people in your life, like you don't feel like you can speak to them at this time because you feel like they're gonna gas you up and give you the wrong advice. You may have taken someone's advice in the past or done what you thought was like the right thing, and then it led you down this garden path that now that you're at your destination, you're like super pissed off about where you are. You're pissed off about the way things are. And so I think you're trying to sort out your feelings this week, because it's like you know that you're angry, you know that you're hurt, you know that you're not getting what you want out of the situations that you're involved in. You feel like there's things that should be talked about, but you also don't even really see the point in talking anymore. For some of you, you're like going out a lot this week and ignoring your partner, or you're drinking, or maybe you're so fed up with your job, you're just like calling in sick, or you're not showing up. There's an energy of you needing to sit down and really sort through everything that's going on inside of you, right? For some of you, like physical activity might be good for you. For others of you, you just need to be alone, because this is showing me that you're triggered. Like everything in your life right now is just kind of pissing you off. I'm not sure. Okay. So part of it is that you feel like you put yourself in this situation, so you're mad at yourself. But then the other part of it is that it's like you've had some sort of perspective shift about the people around you or the situation you're in, if this is work. And it's like you see through it. You see that it's not for you, or that people don't have your best interests in mind, or that you're being used. But you're also like blaming yourself for putting yourself in that situation to begin with, because it seems like maybe you didn't trust your own intuition, or you followed advice from people that now you're seeing weren't necessarily concerned with what you wanted, right? Or what was best for you. I feel like if you can sit in your frustration this week, like go off and maybe make a list or write down everything that you're feeling, it's possible that you will find out that even though this is like infuriating to you, it's not as big of a deal as it seems. And I think the thing about it is that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, it's almost like you just showed up and then you felt like everything was supposed to fall into place, right? If you showed up and you went through the motions. But this is how stuff that like somebody else, it looks like somebody else chose this for you. Okay. So like, say you're in a relationship, but it's almost like you didn't pick your partner, they picked you, and they just kept coming around you, so eventually it happened. Or like, say you ended up in a line of work that was just like your first job, and so you never really explored anything else, and now 10 years later, 5 years later, you're like, I hate this, right? It's almost like you've just been allowing things to kind of happen the way that they happen. And now you're getting to a place where it's like everything is making you feel so sick, so angry, so frustrated. But the bright side of this is that none of this seems to be anything that you truly chose for yourself. Like maybe you were born somewhere where it always snows, but you want to live by the ocean, but you just stay where you live because that's what's normal for you or that's what you know. There's a lot of energy of that, of like your life being a product of everybody else's choices but yours. And so now it's almost getting to the point where it's so smothering. It feels claustrophobic. It feels like you don't want to be in the places that you always go. You don't want to be around the people that you're always with. You don't want to wear the same clothes you always wear or eat the same foods you always eat. It's like you just want to be done. You just want to break out of all of this, right? You kind of want to like throw it all away. But I think for you it's confusing because for a long time, when things don't change, it would like bring you comfort in your life. There's an energy here of feeling safe in what you know, not wanting to explore the unknown. But now it's like everything that made you feel safe at one point is starting to feel like, oh, like a wool sweater or something. Like it's agitating, it's itchy, it's frustrating. It's like you can't quite articulate what the problem is, but everything is just so frustrating this week. And I think it's because you need to figure out what you want, instead of doing what your family expects you to do or doing what your partner, that it seems like you kind of just ended up in this situation, wants you to do, or what your friends think you should do. It's time for you to sit down and figure out if you could do anything and maybe not worry about what these people think, right? Because it's like there's this energy of hoping that other people will have the answer or your best interest in mind, and they don't. And some of them, it's not like that they're mean or bad, but the thing is like nobody knows what you need but you. So if you're trying to follow other people's plans or other people's ideas, it's not going to resonate with you. And the beauty of this is that you have everything that you need to create the life that you want. You have 7 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands. Whatever you need is inside of you. There's nothing that any of these people can do for you to get you where you're supposed to be. But what's great is like there's nothing more that you need to see or to experience to have the tools you need to have success in your life. Okay, so like kind of weird, but it's almost like you had to get to this point where everything is so frustrating that you go sit with yourself and then you allow yourself to really listen to source, to your higher self, to whomever. And then you can kind of like see your way out of this matrix that you've just been existing in. I don't think any of these things are really your choice. It's almost like being safe isn't what you want anymore. You want adventure, you want excitement, you want to feel life. And I think that's what you're really frustrated about this week is like, I'm in situations I don't want to be in. I gave up my power. I put myself in these situations. What's the point of life if all you do is things that you don't care about, right? And so you're almost like being challenged by your higher self to get back in the game emotionally. And I think that for fire signs, that's kind of hard just because you're very good at like competition, or it's very easy for you to lead. And so when you do the same thing over and over, you become such a master at it that people naturally flock to you for advice. Whereas this would require you to put yourself in arenas that are less familiar to you. And so that's kind of when the fire sign ego kicks in of like, I don't want to be a student. I want to be the teacher. I'm the leader. I know everything. This new phase of your life would really require you to shift, and I think that that's a little bit scary for you. But I'm also seeing that your victory with this is actually already written. You already will have this success. It's just a matter of when, and that's up to you. Whenever you want to move into this 10 of Wands energy where you're letting all of these things go that don't seem like your responsibility or your choice, that's when you can move into this feeling victory and feeling happiness about your success and your achievements. All right, so you got don't force things to happen when you want them to happen. Let things unfold when you and the world are ready for them. Be patient. So, even though you may be looking at your life and feeling like I've wasted all this time, that isn't true at all, right? Like you had to go through whatever this is so that you could see the value in yourself. It's almost like you had to completely lose yourself to find yourself. So if you start making moves towards what you want, try not to get into a headspace where you're looking at like how much time you've wasted or how much further along you should be, because this was necessary for your soul's growth. Okay, this was necessary for you to learn how to trust yourself and to be the authority in your own life. All right, I'll speak to you all again soon. In the meantime, take very good care of yourselves. Bye.